Before we attach our leg, we want to make sure that this color change area is in the back and the smooth part is in the front. Now we're going to find the center of the side of the leg so we can attach it from the inside of the leg. If we fold the leg in half, we can find where the middle of the inside leg is. So here we're going to count the stitches. We're going to put a stitch marker to mark our first count of these stitches. So there's one where the blue stitch marker is. Then we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the edge here is number 9. So now we're going to find the middle of these 9 stitches. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that is the middle there, and then after that there should be 4 stitches after. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 5th one is the middle stitch of the inside of the leg. We're going to get a stitch marker to mark that 5th stitch in the middle. That way we'll know where it is when we begin to sew the leg onto the body. So now that we have this stitch marker in, we can take this one out. Now I'm going to take this long knitting needle and place it in the middle of the bottom of the foot through the leg. Then I'm going to poke it into the body so that I can find the correct placement for the leg. I'm going to try to get it as close to where the stitch marker meets the middle of the body. The stitch marker looks pretty close to the center of the body, but I think I need to make it a little bit higher. So I'm going to move the leg slightly higher. Now that I moved it slightly higher, it's matched up with the middle of the body. Once we have the leg aligned, we're going to take the tail of the yarn and put it through that 5th stitch that we marked on the leg. Then we're going to put our darning needle through the middle of the body and bring it out through the adjacent row. This row will be number, from the top of the color change, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th row. Then we're going to go into the next stitch on the leg, which will be the 2nd stitch. Then from that, we're going to go up 1 row, which will be row number 8 from the top. Then we're just going to go directly across on that same row through the adjacent stitch. Then we're going to go through the stitch on the leg, which is the 3rd stitch. And then we're going to go up 1 more row for the next stitch, which will be row number 7 from the top. Again, we're going through the adjacent stitch, and then we're going through the 4th stitch in the leg. For the next stitch on the body, we're going to stay on that same row, row number 7, and we're going to go into the previous stitch and out the adjacent stitch and through the 5th stitch on the leg. On the same row in the body, we're going to go through the previous stitch and out the adjacent stitch and then into the 6th stitch on the leg. Again, we're going back through that same stitch and out the adjacent stitch and through stitch number 7 on the leg. Then for number 8, through the same, out the adjacent, and through the 8th stitch on the leg. Then into the same, out the adjacent, and through the 9th stitch on the leg. Then through the same stitch, out the adjacent, and then through the 10th stitch on the leg. The same stitch, out the adjacent, and through the 11th stitch on the leg. Then through the same stitch, out the adjacent, and through the 12th stitch on the leg. Then through the same stitch, out the adjacent, and through the 13th stitch on the leg. Still on row number 7, through that previous stitch on the body, and then through the adjacent stitch, and then through the 14th stitch on the leg. As our leg begins to curl down, we're going to go down one row, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th row. And then we'll go through that next stitch, and then we'll be into stitch number 15 on the leg. Then on that same row, we're going into the same stitch and then out the adjacent stitch, and we'll be on stitch number 16 on the leg. And now we're back where we started, and we're just going to end it at this row by sticking our needle through and going out the other side of her body, and then we're just going to finish it off by cutting off the end, and then we're done with attaching our first leg. And by following the same techniques, we've attached our second leg.